Hello everyone, welcome back to the Whispering Wombat and another cozy game video. I'm going to attempt again to do a soft-spoken video. This is my second soft-spoken video. I feel like the first video I did that was soft-spoken was okay, but I definitely need more practice because I think I was getting a little bit too enthusiastic in that last video and therefore a little bit too loud and not really soft spoken anymore. So hopefully the more that I practice the soft spoken videos, the better it will get. And of course you guys can give me feedback on what you think about the soft spoken videos versus the whispering videos. Anyway, so I think as well in that first soft spoken video, I felt like I started talking too quickly, and then it's not as relaxing, in my opinion. I also have ASMR, and I do watch ASMR videos myself. Although, I'm not sure if you can get ASMR from yourself. Anyway, I'll try to be a little bit slower and a little bit calmer in this video. So, as you might have worked out, I rather like cozy games. Now, that kind of weirdly started for me quite a while ago when I owned a 3DS. And I think by accident, I started playing a game that I think was Rune Factory 3, or it might have been Rune Factory 4. And I really enjoyed it. It was like a Harvest Moon style of farming game that also included a bit of combat. And I really enjoyed it. So that was kind of what got me into cozy games, I would say. And I mean, this was way before we ever had Stardew Valley on the PC or anything like that. So, because I played Rune Factory 4 and Rune Factory 3 on my 3DS, and these were my first Rune Factory games, I then wanted to go back and play the older games. So at the moment I'm playing, on my 3DS, I'm playing Rune Factory 1. And then, this is a Wii game, I'm also playing Harvest Moon Frontier on the Wii. Actually, on a Wii U. Anyway, let's not split hairs. But essentially, I wanted to go back and play the older games. And actually, this game, Harvest Moon Frontier on the Wii, is kind of fun. I kind of like it. It has a few things that are a little bit annoying. But on the whole, I kind of like it. And it's quite addictive. So this is my house. Everyone in this game starts out with a house with some very basic storage. Right. You've got like a calendar here, because in these games it's very important that you know the time of the year. It's still very early in this save game. It's only spring 17, day 17, so it's somewhat early. And then we got ourselves a fireplace which can't be actually used, it's just there for show. Not quite sure what this area is. Some kind of grain storage again. I believe this is for show. Then over here I can actually use this. This is my forge, where I get to forge things. This is something you have to buy from the merchant that only comes on holidays. And I'll show you later the area where that merchant arrives. Yeah. We have a table. The only use for the table is that it will store your letters here, as you can see. So you can look at your letters at any time. Mail. In America, they call it mail, right? And then, of course, we've got a kitchen. I've only upgraded my kitchen with one frying pan because I find in early game, what I do is I do fishing and then I turn the fish into sushi, and then any of the fish that I can't turn into sushi, I fry in my frying pan. And number one, this will skill up my cooking skill very fast, which I like. And number two, it will give me food that I can sell and food that I can consume, because of course, like with many of these Harvest Moon style of games, every day you have a limited amount of energy. The blue bar in the top left is called RP, and this is like your energy. When your RP bar is 0, if you do more actions, it will start to eat into your HP or your health points, which is the green bar above it. So essentially, by eating food, this can help you to restore your RP. Another thing that's helpful is you very quickly unlock a bathhouse in this game. So the bathhouse opens at 3 o'clock every day, and when you have a bath, you have to pay a little bit of money, but it's not much. And when you have a bath, you will then restore your HP and your RP back to 100%. So I do find that that is also incredibly helpful. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a very quick tour of my farm, which is not very big, and the map. Bear in mind, I think I've only been playing this game for something like 6 or 7 hours, so I might not remember everything perfectly. And if you're a veteran of this particular game, Rune Factory Frontier, you'll have to bear with me because I'm certainly not an expert in this game yet. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Now, loading screens. One thing I'll say that I don't like about this game, I don't like the loading screens. There are rather a lot of loading screens, but this is a Wii game. You always have to remind yourself it's a Wii game. I think it came out in something like 2008, maybe, something like that. So we do have to bear that in mind. It is a very good game if you consider how old it is. Now you can probably see some weird characters floating around. They are called Runeys. 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 And they're very important in this game. You have to manage the amount of Runeys in each area, and you have to make sure that they flourish and that you have a lot of them in each area, essentially. Because if an area is low on Runeys, then it will start to be very slow, like things will grow slowly. It won't be a area that can flourish in the game. So Runeys are very important, and you do get given quite early on in the game what is called a harvester. And this harvester, funnily enough, is used to harvest Runeys, so you can redistribute them You can also use runes for you to make rune stones and something else, which is like a wish. You can make a wish using runes. For example, I believe you can wish for rain with runes. Anyway, that's runes for you. So I do like how in this game there is a wheel of all your weapons and tools. That's very useful. This is my farm area. One other thing to bear in mind, when you harvest things, it doesn't use up any of your RP. Most things in this game do require RP, but this particular thing of harvesting items like this will not use any of your RP, so this is a good thing. If you get near the end of the day and you run out of RP and you're maybe at a loose end as to what to do, this is a good thing to do. And then what you can do is, you've got, of course, in these games, you always have a shipping bin. And you can then, anything you want to sell, and I've just realised that my inventory is rather full up with stuff at this point. But, for example, weeds. I like to sell weeds. See? And it will tell you there that those weeds are going to make me 460 gold, which will add on to my 3,610 gold. So my strategy right now, because it's very early in the playthrough, I am waiting for, there is a lady whose name escapes me, that she only arrived in my game yesterday. So what happens is, she arrives in front of your front door, exhausted and in need of water. And you take her across to the infirmary, if I can say the word, and then she will turn into the librarian. I'm not sure if you'd call her a librarian or the bookshop owner or whatever you call her. There is somewhere that I'll show you later that is like the archive. I think it's the Rune archive. Anyway, something archive. And she will end up working there. And she will end up selling some books. So what I'm going to do is, I have all these fish. So I already was able to obtain my fishing rod, and I was able to gather some fish, and I could also upgrade my fishing rod one time, so it's not the really basic fishing rod. Then I'm going to buy recipe booklets from the lady that I was just talking about, and that will enable me to turn said fish into sushi and other fried items and things like that, so that I will be able to then sell some of that and make money. I also have rather a lot of turnips, as you can see. So what I'm going to do with the turnips is I'm going to come here, and I can actually already show you this. So the turnips, I can't remember if I said this when I was here earlier, but what I'm going to do with turnips is I'm going to just make them into pickled turnips, like so. And you have this lovely mini game, which I'm probably going to fail. Not too bad. Anyway, I skilled up too. So yeah, I'm basically going to find the time to turn all of these turnips into the pickled turnip. I don't honestly think you make much more by selling this rather than selling one individual turnip. Maybe I'm wrong there. Yeah, look, so if you sell a level 1 turnip, you get 210 gold. Versus if you sell a pickled turnip, you get 282. So it's not exactly a massive increase. But by turning all my turnips into pickled turnips, rather than just selling them outright for money, which they are worth quite a lot, even if you just sell them as they are, that will help me to skill up the cooking skill. In this game, skilling up is very important, and that's how I intend to skill up the cooking skill. I'm also, with my forge, I'm gonna skill up on my forge. Basically, my plan is to make swords and spears, and obviously I will upgrade the things I have here. Honestly, I think I need to learn more about this because I feel like I don't understand it well enough. Also, I need to buy a recipe booklet of how to make some basic weapons, because that's what I'm going to use to do some skilling up on my forge. But yeah, I think I need to look into this a bit more about how to do that a bit better. Yeah, so there's not really a lot to show you now in my farm. It's just essentially a massive field, if I can even negotiate. I've got this lovely river running right next to my farm, which is very relaxing. But yeah, it's essentially just a massive field, which I need to farm. I can't, you might be wondering why I've got tree stumps here. Well, I need to upgrade my axe more in order for me to be able to do anything with the tree stumps. At the moment, the current axe I have can only get rid of like the twigs. This thing here is it? Well, it's not really a twig. It's more like a branch. So it can only really get rid of the branches, like these ones. This is my, on the subject of wood, this is my storage area for lumber. So what happens is, when I get my axe, like so, and when I chop this wood on the floor here, that will automatically be stored in here. You see, that went up now, didn't it, by 1. Now, I believe they have a similar thing for stone. So I've got this massive iron hammer. Now, I can do the same thing with stone, if I can find one. Because, oh yeah, here's one, look. If I do my special move on this, it will vanish as if by magic. See what I mean? Now, I think it does the same thing. Oh, and here's a bit of a pro tip. When you're not using any of your weapons or tools, I would put them away. Because when you're using a Wii remote, you know, the controller that comes with a Wii, for some reason, I always seem to accidentally swing my weapon or tool, and then it will basically waste RP. So I like to put it away anytime I'm not using it. That might just be me. So yeah, the only other thing to say is that I've got a well here that I use to fill up my watering can. But yeah, the farm is not very large. I believe up here, this area is where in the future I can make a barn. I need to pay someone some money in order for me to get a barn here. I don't think it's only money. So I think I have to pay someone money, but I also have to provide them with lumber. So you need lumber also for you to upgrade your house. So that's why lumber's very important. You need to use it to upgrade your house, and you also use it in order for you to get a barn. You also need to spend money or currency on that as well. So by selling food or selling items, that's how you can make the currency for that. Okay, so we're going to head up into town now. I'm going to show you into town. This little bridge here. I sometimes like to come here and do some fishing. Up here, this is like the first area that you go to fight mobs. I suppose you'd call it a dungeon. Yeah, but it's like a floating island. They call it Whale Island. I'm not going to go there now because obviously it's not very relaxing because you're fighting people. But yeah, this is the first one. So basically, when you come here at first, it's just a plant, and then when you water the plant, it will turn into a giant beanstalk like this, and then you can climb up it, and it's like a dungeon where you get ore and you fight things. Weirdly, in this game, you can use the farm tools for fighting. I find that very strange. So this is what I use. I usually use the iron sickle. The iron sickle is what I use usually when I do fighting in this game. When you've upgraded it at least one time, it has a special move, and I can basically use the special move a lot, and I find the iron sickle, surprisingly, is quite good for early game and even mid game fighting in this game. So it's a little bit weird, I know, but it does work. Okay, so this is the clock house. So in the clock house, we've got some guy that's like a wizard looking guy. I've not worked out what this is for yet, but I'm assuming you're supposed to bring things here. Maybe it's a bit like a museum where you have to bring artifacts, but I've not worked that out yet, as you can probably tell. What time is it? 2:30 in the afternoon. So the guy that I was talking about is not here. Sometimes you find him here, and sometimes you find him in his room. That is sometimes one of the annoying things in this game, is finding people can sometimes be quite annoying. It's not a holiday. So he must be. Is he over here? Nope, I wasn't supposed to do that. Maybe I can show you this area while I'm out here by accident. So I've not really worked out what the purpose is of this area. The only use I see for this area, because every time I've been up here, it's empty. There's no one here or nothing here. So the only thing I can think about why they would have this area is just simply so you can see the view, the lovely view of the town. Yeah, other than that, it doesn't seem to have any use. I've never found anyone up here or anything up here. So yeah, a little bit strange. I just thought I'd show you that while I'm accidentally out here. Didn't mean to go out here. And then yeah, I believe this thing here is like a map for you to see the Rune distribution. One of the ways for you to do that, I believe. And then this guy, I can't remember his name, but like the wizard guy, he has a couple of granddaughters. This is one of his granddaughters. Her name is Cinnamon, and she's who you will get your fishing rod off, so she's very important. It's a little bit annoying, but you basically, after she arrives in the game, you have to come inside the clock tower and you have to talk to her. Then you go outside and you will find her out in the world fishing, and then you ask her about that, and eventually she will give you your first fishing rod. Yeah, and then there's another granddaughter. What's her name? Cherry or something like that? I don't remember, but she's the one that you have to ask about Runeys and Rune management. And she's the one that will give you the harvester. So yeah, basically the first week or so in this game, you spend a lot of time running around, talking to people, waiting for them to give you your first items, like your first axes, fishing rods, things like that. Okay, so then up here is the church. So we have the church and we have a hospital. For some reason, the hospital is attached to the church. And I think the lady that I was talking about earlier, that's going to be the librarian or the bookseller, I think she might still be inside, although by now she might already be selling books. Yeah, she's gone. Okay, so this lady is kind of like a nurse. She's from the church, but she acts like a nurse. And then next door in the church is someone called Stella. And Stella, yeah, she's also someone you have to talk to quite a lot in the early game. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So if I go, so the archives, I was saying earlier about the archives. So this one is the archive. The something archive. Is it the Rune archive? Is she here now? I think we're going to get a cutscene, people. Yeah, here we go. Here she is. The lady I was talking about. I don't remember her name. She's going to be selling books now. Yep. So she's basically going to tell us that she's now going to be in here in the archives, and that she will sell us books. She might not sell us any books now. No, maybe tomorrow. So when I was saying earlier about recipe books, I'm going to be buying a lot of recipe books from her whenever I can afford it. So I've been selling weeds, really. So I've been trying to hold on to everything else that I can, and as much as possible only selling weeds. But that has been enough for me to now have about 3,500 coin in the game. That should be enough for me to buy like the basic recipe books that I need, for me then to make more money, and then I should be fine for money after that, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow to buy up her books, and it's Friday tomorrow in the game, and then Saturday is the holiday when I will be finding the merchant and hopefully upgrading more of my stuff at the merchant. So this is the bathhouse. It's after 3 o'clock. I don't need a bath. Maybe I'll just show you how it works. So you just have to come here, talk to Rune. You know what? I've never been upstairs. Anything upstairs? You can look at some flowers, it seems. No. So I sometimes find it a bit weird in these games where it lets you just walk around in other people's houses. I mean, in real life, if you did that, you'd be in trouble, wouldn't you? Anyway. So yeah, you just have to talk to this Raguna lady. Hi, Raguna.
It's so warm. Welcome. The best.
And then you just go to, I came to take a bath.
That will be 10 gold.
That will be 10 gold. There you go. Then you just run over here and you take a bath. And your RP and HP will be restored.
That's nice.
And this is only available after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. FYI. Yeah. So, yeah, I always use that every day. Because I find, you know, it helps you to maximize the things you're able to do in a day. So this is the kind of market square up here. And this is where, at the moment, it's going to be empty. So right now it's empty, but on the holiday, this is where the trader is, where you can buy stuff for your house. You can buy your forge. You can buy your forge, you can buy frying pans, you can buy furniture, all of that stuff. We've got a grocery shop. I think this is where I buy seeds from, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so you can buy seeds here. That's about it. Then I believe we've got a new shop. This shop is like, well, it also says it's a grocer's. Yeah. See. I seem to remember that she sells like flower seeds and stuff like that. Haven't really had much need for it so far though. Then I believe we've got a blacksmith. This isn't really. Oh, look. Oh, that's just the map. Okay, so that's the map of this game world. In case you are wondering, of course I can also access that normally as well. Like, you don't have to come here every time for you to see the map. It is in the menu as well. Okay, blacksmith. So the blacksmith is very important at the beginning. You talk to her a few times and she will give you some, you know, like a book of recipes you can use to upgrade your farming tools. See? And she also sells swords and stuff like that. But like I said earlier, weirdly in this game, you can fight with farm tools, which is a bit strange, but that means you don't have to buy any tools. Oh yeah, I think that's a dead end. I have been down there once, and it's a dead end. This is the inn. So there's an inn, and then next to the inn is like a pub. Oh, a cutscene. I have the volume low because obviously this is an ASMR video, so you might not be able to hear any of that. Sorry. Didn't want to scare the life.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Ow!
A monster?
What insolence!
I am fine.
Milady!
I said
Milady!
I must apologize. By the way, do you...
Yes,
Then I request...
Dialogue. Of course, this game, like a lot of Japanese games, has a lot of dialogue like that you have to go through. So if you don't like that kind of dialogue, you won't really like this game. Anyway, like I said, the bar opens at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's only 5 o'clock, so it won't be open, but you can at least see what it's like. When it's 6 o'clock, there'll be a bar woman here that will serve you. And again, I believe you talk to her in the early game and she will give you a book of food recipes, very basic ones you can use at the beginning. So that's handy. I think that's where you get the pickled turnip from, actually, which is quite important for you to make early game money. Okay, so I think we're kind of getting near the end now. There's not that much left now. So I believe I just need to run back to my farm, or the farm area. No, actually, I don't need to go back to the farm area. So we've got this guy's farm, if he's here. I don't even remember his name, but this is the guy that you have to talk to upgrade your house. Yeah, he probably is not here right now, but sometimes he's out the back farming. But you have to talk to this guy in order to... Here he is. Yeah. I don't remember his name, but yeah, that's who you have to talk to if you want to upgrade your house, and you will need to give him money and wood. Quite a lot of it, I seem to remember. And then there's like a farm shop over the road. There's a guy that runs a farm shop over the road here. So I think this is the guy that gives you your sickle when you first start the game. I mean, honestly, it's a little bit confusing if you've never played this game before. As you can probably tell, you have to talk with a lot of different people at the start of the game in order for you to get various items. But yeah, this is essentially a farm shop. You know, he sells vegetables or stuff like that. Right, so... no, wrong way. So basically there's Mountain Road. So I'm going to run up, show you Mountain Road. I've not really worked out the use. Now, from what I can remember, I think there might be, or it looks like there might be like a dungeon here in the future. But I haven't really got that far in the game yet. Now, it says that, I think it says this is an observation. Yeah, observatory. But at the moment, there's nothing up here. So maybe at some point this will turn into something. But at this point in time, it's literally nothing. As far as I can tell, anyway. Okay. And then we're going to run up Mountain Road. I believe this road is called Mountain Road. And then we got a bridge now. This area looks awesome, but I haven't quite worked out what it's for. Of course, you can come here and do fishing. We've got like a gondola, see? And we can ride the gondola like so. But if I'm honest, I've not quite worked out the purpose of this area. Is it you're supposed to use it to farm things? I really don't know. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, honestly, I haven't quite worked out. Orchard of Plenty, only take what you need. Yeah, so probably the idea is I'm supposed to come here to harvest things here. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this game. I've only played it for like 5-6 hours or so, so I have a lot to learn. Now, one of the things I do really like in this game is they have what is called a return spell, if I can speak. A return spell. So if I press number 2 on my controller, and if I go to return, watch what happens. So my return spell will bring me home. So this is really helpful for you to get around the map fast, you know. And if you use it when you're in a dungeon, it takes you back to the start of the dungeon. So again, very helpful. Okay, so there's literally one more area left I want to show you. So this is the house of Mist, one of the characters in this game, who's called Mist. So yeah, I'm probably not allowed in her house now, it's late, but yeah, this is her house. It looks nice, doesn't it? And there's like a little lake here that I sometimes do fishing in. It's pretty good. And then there is also a dungeon. There's also opposite her house a dungeon. Actually, I can show you inside this one. I'm not going to go far inside, obviously, because it's a dungeon and it's not very relaxing. But I can show you because I know that here there aren't any enemies. I can break this with my sickle. Ooh, what's going to be inside, I wonder? Red grass. Now, you might be wondering why I'm planting plants inside a cave or a dungeon. Well, what happens is, in this game, when you have plants that are fully grown, every day they generate runes, and these runes can replenish your RP. So this is very helpful when you're fighting and you are doing things inside a dungeon, that you can, when you start to run out of RP, use the crops you've planted when they're fully grown in order to replenish your RP. You see that every time I do this action of watering, my RP will go down. And it's the same with everything, fighting, anything you do in the game. Your RP will start to go down. So yeah, this is why one of the first things I will do in this game is I will start planting up things inside the dungeons so that I've got, RP ready to go. I believe this is called Green Ruins. You can see why it's so green. But yeah. So there you go. I did see that I think I can go this way. You know what? I don't remember there being anything this way. Maybe I just forgot about it. I thought I'd shown you the whole map already. Oh, it's the beach. I forgot the beach. Again, I've not quite worked out what the beach is for. Usually in these kind of games, you find things on the beach that you can collect. But in this game, there isn't anything on the beach for me to collect. Although obviously you can come to the pier for fishing purposes, right? But other than that, doesn't really seem to have much of a use. So yeah, I mean, I would say that as someone that likes these kind of farming games, I'm happy that I'm trying this Rune Factory Frontier. And I believe there's another Rune Factory game on the Wii. I can't remember what it's called actually. So my plan is to play through this game and to play through, then to try to play through the other game, the other Rune Factory game on the Wii as well. I am, like I said at the beginning of the video, I have also started playing Rune Factory 1. But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish that game, because the very early Rune Factory games, they don't have a lot of quality of life features. These games are already fairly grindy in nature, and then that game is even more grindy. So I don't know, maybe when I'm on holiday and I have my 3DS with me over the summer holidays, maybe I might try to play Rune Factory 1 more. We'll see. Anyway, so that is my little introduction to Rune Factory Frontier. I think if you're interested in any of these Harvest Moon games, or maybe if you aren't even aware, because it kind of makes me laugh a lot. You know, like a lot of people these days will say, "Oh, that's like Stardew Valley," and they kind of think Stardew Valley was the thing that started this genre. Well, in fact, it wasn't. Harvest Moon, I believe, was one of the first ones. So we had Harvest Moon on the consoles, and we had Rune Factory on the consoles. I think there's another series called Story of Seasons as well on the console. And the whole reason that Stardew Valley got really popular was because we didn't have that kind of Harvest Moon farming game on the PC really until Stardew Valley. So basically, the guy who made Stardew Valley just basically looked at the Harvest Moon games and made his own version of that on the PC. Although I believe I would say it's more like a Rune Factory game, because Harvest Moon, I seem to remember, it doesn't have any combat in it, or certainly the very traditional Harvest Moon games don't have any combat in them. Whereas Rune Factory, that was one of the unique things when Rune Factory first came out, is it had the farming aspect, but it also had like the fighting aspect as well. So yeah, it's quite interesting if if you're into these Stardew Valley style of games, and if you've never heard or you've never played Harvest Moon or Rune Factory games, I would highly recommend you go back and try them. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I might just see you in the next one.